good evening. This is your host, Sheree Casey, with the Speak Life podcast. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is staying safe. Everyone is social distancing. I have a special treat for you. As I said last week, we're going to start interviewing people from our new book, Mothers Speak. Christian women share their wisdom for spiritual and natural success, an anthology in which we have 8 women telling their stories and giving advice and wisdom when it comes to raising your children. So without further ado, today's guest is one of our co-authors. Her name is Deborah Johnson. And Deborah earned a master's degree of social work with a concentration in management and policies and a certificate of human service management from Rutgers University. Deborah can do a number of things: sing, dance, write. She's a lovely person to be around. She has strong faith. She believes in nurturing children, supporting and strengthening them, empowering and advocating for families while supporting their chance to advocate for themselves. She promotes preventative methods for child abuse and maltreatment. Deborah is passionate about providing opportunities for youth and families to share their voice and thrive and to soar. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Deborah Johnson. Hello, Deborah.
Well, hello. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for your lovely, kind words. And again, it's a pleasure and it's an honor. The whole process of being a part of this book, aligning with the other co-authors and you, of course. And it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you today.
Great. Well, I want to get started, and I want you to tell our audience, what it was like to be part of this anthology.
It was exciting for me to be asked to provide input into this anthology. When you gave me information about the topic, I was, again, excited because it gave me an opportunity to further reflect on my experience personally, and also just my experience personally, but also my experience with other mothers, friends and families, and as well as people that I've come in contact, whether it's through my line of work or just day to day. But particularly reflections on, from my heart, raising successful children. Mm-hmm. As you know, I have my husband, I had 3 children. We have 2 grown children and a change in life. Well, now they're all grown now. The youngest one is 18. And so when I look at my experience from time of gestation, as I speak a lot in the anthology, through their childhood, through adulthood, it makes my heart flutter. Mm-hmm. It brings joy to my heart because it's a wonderful thing to see a child grow and develop, but not just to grow and develop, but also be in an environment where they're loved and there's support, and there's a village, and that's what all children need. Unfortunately, all children don't have that, but the goal is not only to provide that for your family, but to see how you could be a support system, be part of that village, to make sure that not only our own children, but other children thrive. Right. And have a trajectory that is leading them to a wholesome, but also a successful upbringing and life experience.
So let me ask you a question. So, um, was it an easy journey parenting um, not only your adult children, but your change of life baby? So, I mean, what were some of the challenges that you faced that made you think, oh my God, I've got to deal with this now?
Well, though I had support systems, my mother, my grandmother, and other family and friends that were there to help when the children came along, it's still a process when you are a first-time mother, and even when you're not a first-time mother, because there's things you still have to learn. There's still that process that you still have to go through and that learning curve. So yeah, things you may know or you think you know, and then also things that you learn along the way. And so some parts were easier than others, but yes, there were some challenges, because anytime you bring forth a life and your family dynamics change, it's not only a blessing, but there are some challenges. Life will change dramatically. And so with that, you have to learn how to adjust your what was before, where it was just you or you and your partner or you and your spouse. Now there's a life or little ones that you have to tend to, and you have to help them through that process. And it's a lot of learning and understanding that you have to basically expose yourself to, so that you can benefit the child and also help them with that growth and development. So again, there was a lot of bright spots, but there was some challenges, because again, raising children is not always easy. No matter how optimal the situation or the circumstances or the environment is, it is work, and it's something that we have to understand that it's a process, and also we have to open up our understanding of what it takes to raise children, not only emotionally, provide them with the cognitive and social emotional supports, but you also want to make sure that their academics are in order, making sure that you are providing that spiritual support, and also making sure that their physical needs and their health needs are taken care of. So with that is a huge responsibility.
Absolutely. The thing is, how was your communication with your children? A lot of people, one of the purposes and the reasons for this book was because I came across some mothers and daughters whose communication wasn't really good. I actually know people who hadn't spoken to their mothers in years, and who have just given up having communication. And it just was kind of shocking to me, but not surprising. So what was the ingredient that kept those, because teenagers alone can be a problem. They grow up and they think, oh, I'm bigger than you. I can tell you what to do. And I can remember those moments of saying, wait a minute, hold up now, you're not the boss here.
Right. Well, my experience, I should say, is that even early on, from different age groups, as our children grew up, is that one thing that my husband and I had agreed on and talked much about was how we would communicate with our children. Not just talking at them, but we would talk to them. We would also, especially when they were small, stoop down to their eye level, have them raised up to eye level so that we can communicate and engage, and also to hear what were they trying to say, and then also communicate what the message that we wanted to convey to them. So the thing is that we always thought it was very, very important to listen to the child, to engage the child, and to provide instruction as needed and input from them as well. So with that said, and when the children were very, very young, we thought that communication and again, communicating with the child was not only for them to understand and grow, understand the different concepts and values and things of that nature, but we thought it was also very stimulating for them. So when we talked, we didn't talk just about, okay, go put your toys away, things of that nature. Even as little kids, we would talk about what was happening, whether it was fun activities, things of that nature, because we also felt that that was helpful to their social, emotional, academic, and cognitive development. As they grew older, we continued on with the communication. And again, communication can be challenging sometimes, because kids, when they get a certain age, are like, oh, I got this. But also to explain to them that it's important to have a dialogue, to engage, so that people would know what's going on, not only with them, but also what's going on in the family. And that was especially true, not only with the parents, but also with the grandparents, to keep that connection, to learn what was it like growing up for the grandparents, who was our ancestors, things of that nature, get that involvement, to talk about little things such as even making cookies or preparing dinner, how we can engage and talk about the benefits of cooking and how that's important to the family dynamic. So communication was key. And even when it came to reprimanding, that was important, not only to identify what was the issue and why did it occur, and to hear the person's side on each side, and then also provide a corrective where needed. That was key. But one thing we thought was, and still do think is very, very important, is that you want to communicate in such a way that you don't break the child's spirit. It is important how we talk to our children, and it is important how we teach our children to address their elders, their teachers, their friends. So everything wasn't always perfect, of course. What dynamic is always perfect? But we laid down a foundation for good communication, because we realized that how you communicate will impact your circumstances. One thing we used to always say to the children, you're representing not only yourself, but you're representing God, and you're representing your family. And you want to go out and you want to communicate with others in such a way that it shows respect, and that you have integrity, and you have values, and that you want respect and you want to give respect. And so that's one thing we also try to do with our children in the household. I think, and also one thing about with the communication piece, I think that's also tied in how you address the child. It can also impact their confidence, their self-esteem, and their sense of worth.
Absolutely. I've ran across children, in my profession, where the children will tell you, my parent is always calling me stupid and dumb, and they talk to me anyway. And children feel these things. And for some reason, from the dark ages, I don't want to say dark ages, I mean the era that I grew up in. I can remember some of the quotes, the older you get, the dumber you get. Just the way that people dealt with children. And from dealing with those children like that,